In the dim glow of my apartment hallway in downtown Chicago, I froze as her lips met mine, a spark that ignited everything I'd built into flames. That single stolen moment with the rebel musician across the hall didn't just awaken desires I'd buried deep. It tore open the facade of my straight-laced life, forcing me to confront a family that would never understand and a society quick to judge. By morning, the guilt hit like a freight train, but so did the undeniable pull toward her, setting off a chain of events that would cost me more than I ever imagined. Eleanor Hayes had always been the picture of control. At 32, she was a rising star in corporate law, her days filled with boardroom battles and her nights with meticulously planned dinners in her upscale Lincoln Park condo. Her life was a carefully constructed tower, engaged to a respectable banker named Thomas, supported by conservative parents who beamed at her every achievement, and insulated from the chaos of the world outside her window. But chaos had a way of seeping in, especially when it lived just across the hall. It started innocently enough. The building's thin walls carried the strains of guitar riffs and haunting melodies late into the night. Tori Rivera, the enigmatic neighbor with tattoos peeking from under her sleeves and a mane of wild curls, was an indie rock musician scraping by on gigs and dreams. Eleanor had complained once to the super about the noise, but Tori's apologetic smile, sharp, knowing and utterly disarming, had diffused the tension. "Sorry about that," Tori had said, her voice low and gravelly from too many smoky bars. "Inspiration hits when it hits." Eleanor had nodded politely, but something in that exchange lingered, a flicker she dismissed as fatigue. Weeks passed, and the music became a soundtrack to Eleanor's solitude. Thomas was often away on business, leaving her to her case files and herbal tea. One rainy evening, as thunder rattled the windows, a knock echoed through her door. Tori stood there, drenched, holding a dripping umbrella. "Power's out in my place," she explained, her eyes catching the hallway light like embers. "Mind if I borrow your outlet for a bit? My amp's dead and I've got a deadline." Eleanor hesitated, her ingrained caution warring with an unexpected curiosity. She let her in, and as Tori plugged in and strummed a soft tune, the room filled with a warmth Eleanor hadn't felt in years. They talked that night, really talked. Tori shared stories of touring dive bars, the high of a crowd's roar, the low of rejection. Eleanor opened up about the pressure of her firm's expectations, the way her parents' pride felt like a leash. "Sounds like you're living someone else's script," Tori observed, her fingers pausing on the strings. Eleanor laughed it off, but the words burrowed deep. Over the next few days, casual hellos turned into shared coffees, then late-night conversations on the fire escape. Tori's world was vibrant, unapologetic. She spoke of past relationships with women, of fighting for visibility in a male-dominated industry. Eleanor listened, fascinated, her own life feeling grayscale in comparison. The shift was subtle at first, a brush of hands, a lingering look. Eleanor told herself it was nothing, just friendship in a lonely city. But one night, after a brutal day in court where she defended a corporation against discrimination claims, she knocked on Tori's door. "I need to escape," she said. Tori pulled her inside, poured wine, and played a song she'd written about breaking free. As the melody faded, their eyes met, and the air thickened. Tori leaned in, hesitant, giving Eleanor every chance to pull away. She didn't. The kiss was electric, a release of pent-up tension that made Eleanor's world tilt. In that moment she felt alive, seen, desired in a way Thomas's polite affections never touched. But dawn brought reality crashing down. Eleanor woke in her own bed, alone, her mind racing. What had she done? Thomas was due back soon. Her parents expected a wedding announcement. Guilt clawed at her, mingled with a thrilling fear. She avoided Tori for days, burying herself in work, but the pull was relentless. When Tori cornered her in the elevator, her expression hurt and confused, Eleanor snapped. "That was a mistake. I'm not like you." The words tasted like ash, but they were her shield. Tori's face hardened. "Fine. But don't lie to yourself forever." The internal storm brewed. Eleanor's focus shattered. She botched a key deposition, drawing her boss's ire. At home, Thomas noticed her distraction, attributing it to stress. "We should set a date," he suggested over dinner, his hand on hers feeling foreign. Her parents called, gushing about grandchildren and legacy. The weight pressed down, suffocating. Yet, in quiet moments she replayed the kiss, questioning everything. Was this who she was? Had she been hiding all along? One evening, unable to bear the silence, Eleanor went to Tori's gig at a small Wicker Park venue. The crowd was eclectic, alive with energy. Tori on stage was magnetic, her voice raw and powerful. Their eyes locked during a ballad about forbidden love, and Eleanor felt exposed. After the set, in the alley behind the bar, they confronted it. "Why are you here?" Tori demanded. "Because I can't stop thinking about you," Eleanor admitted, her voice breaking. They kissed again, this time with desperation, but Eleanor pulled back. "I can't do this. My family. My life." Tori's eyes softened. "Then figure it out. But don't drag me into your closet." The conflict escalated. Eleanor's mother visited unannounced, sensing something off. Over brunch, she probed. "Is everything okay with Thomas? You seem distant." Eleanor deflected, but the lie festered. Meanwhile, Tori started seeing someone else. A fellow musician, open and proud. Jealousy gnawed at Eleanor, forcing her to examine her feelings. Was it just infatuation or something deeper? She confided in her best friend, Sarah, who reacted with shock. "You're engaged, Elle. This isn't you." The judgment stung, mirroring her own doubts. As weeks turned to months, the tension built. Thomas proposed a lavish engagement party, and Eleanor agreed, hoping it would anchor her. But inviting Tori, out of some masochistic impulse, proved disastrous. At the event, amid toasts and cheers, Tori arrived looking stunning, her date in tow. Their stolen glances across the room were torture. Later, in the bathroom, Tori confronted her. "This is bullshit. You're miserable," Eleanor whispered. "I know." And they shared a frantic embrace, interrupted by Sarah bursting in. The betrayal was swift. Sarah told Thomas, who confronted Eleanor that night. The fallout was brutal. Thomas, hurt and humiliated, called off the engagement. "I deserve better than lies," he said, packing his things. Eleanor's parents descended, their disappointment a tidal wave. "How could you do this? To us, to your future?" Her father thundered, invoking family values and societal norms. Eleanor defended herself for the first time. "This is my life, not yours." But the words cost her. They cut ties, leaving her isolated. Work suffered too. Rumors spread at the firm, her conservative clients pulling away. A promotion slipped through her fingers. In the depths of loss, Eleanor turned to Tori, but Tori had walls up. "You chose them over us," she said. "What changed?" Eleanor, raw and vulnerable, replied, "Everything. I was wrong." Their reconciliation was tentative, built on honesty and pain. Yet society loomed large. Friends distanced themselves. Online trolls targeted Tori's music after a leaked story. Eleanor faced her first Pride event, hand in hand with Tori. The stares a mix of support and scorn. The internal battle raged. Was love worth the wreckage? The days following the engagement party's implosion blurred into a haze of regret and reckoning for Eleanor. She wandered her empty apartment, the silence deafening without Thomas's steady presence or her parents' weekly calls. The mirror reflected a stranger. Eyes hollow from sleepless nights, shoulders slumped under the weight of choices. Work became a refuge, but even there, whispers followed her. Colleagues eyed her with pity or suspicion. Her boss pulled her aside. Personal issues are bleeding into professional ones. Get it together, Hayes. She nodded, but inside turmoil churned. How had one kiss unraveled it all? Tori kept her distance at first, wary of being a rebound or a secret. Their hallway encounters were awkward nods, but Eleanor couldn't let go. She left notes under Tori's door, apologies, confessions, pleas for understanding. One night, after a particularly grueling day, Tori responded, "Meet me at the lakefront," the text read. They walked along Lake Michigan's shore, the wind whipping waves into froth. "Why now?" Tori asked, her voice edged with hurt. Eleanor stopped, facing her. "Because pretending hurt more than the truth. I was scared of losing my family, my identity. But losing you? That's unbearable." They talked for hours, peeling back layers. Tori shared her own scars. Coming out in a small Texas town, the bullying, the estrangement from her brother. It gets better, but it never stops costing, she said. Eleanor listened, her heart aching. For the first time, she voiced her fears aloud. The internalized shame from a religious upbringing, the fear of being other. Tori held her hand. You're not alone in this. That night they didn't kiss. Instead, they built a fragile bridge of trust. But bridges can crumble under pressure. Eleanor's parents reached out via email, a cold missive demanding she fix this mess and reconsider Thomas. Think of your future, your children, it read. The words ignited rage. She replied heatedly, defending her feelings. The response was silence, then a visit from her sister Mia, the family peacemaker. Over coffee, Mia pleaded. Mom and Dad are devastated. They raised you better. Eleanor snapped. Better than what? Loving someone. Mia left in tears, but not before warning. You're tearing us apart. Society's judgment amplified the isolation. At a firm networking event, a client made a snide remark about lifestyle choices. Eleanor bit back a retort, but it festered. Online, she stumbled into forums debating LGBTQ rights, the vitriol a punch to the gut. Tori faced her own battles. A gig promoter canceled after hearing rumors, citing family-friendly concerns. This is the price, Tori said bitterly one evening, strumming her guitar absent-mindedly. Eleanor felt responsible. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. Tori shook her head. We drag each other. The relationship deepened amid the chaos. They spent weekends exploring Chicago's hidden gems, art galleries in Pilsen, jazz clubs in Bronzeville. Tori introduced Eleanor to her circle of queer friends, a vibrant group that welcomed her with open arms. For the first time, Eleanor felt belonging, but it highlighted what she'd lost. Jealousy flared when Tori's ex, a charismatic drummer named Jordan, reappeared at a show. Jordan's flirtations were blatant, and Eleanor's insecurity boiled over in a heated argument back home. Do you still have feelings for her? She accused. Tori sighed. No, but trust me or don't, this won't work without it. The fight exposed cracks. Eleanor retreated, questioning if she was ready. Work piled on. A high-profile case demanded late nights, leaving little time for them. Tori grew frustrated. You're hiding again in your job this time. The tension peaked at a friend's wedding, where Eleanor introduced Tori as a friend. The lie stung both. Tori left early, hurt. Eleanor followed, apologizing profusely. I'm trying, she said. Tori softened. Try harder. For us. External pressures mounted. Eleanor's firm faced a diversity audit, and her story became fodder for office politics. A colleague outed her in a meeting, framing it as inspiration. Humiliated, Eleanor confronted him, but the damage was done. Clients hesitated. Her caseload shrank. At home, a letter from her parents arrived. An ultimatum. Choose your path wisely. We're here if you come to your senses. The moral dilemma tore at her. Was honoring her truth worth orphaning herself? Tori's world cracked too. Her bandmate, loyal but pragmatic, suggested toning down her activism. We need gigs, not controversy. Tori refused, leading to a fallout. Alone in her apartment, she confided in Eleanor. Sometimes I wonder if it's worth it. Their vulnerability drew them closer, but the costs accumulated. Eleanor skipped a family reunion, lying about work. The deception weighed heavy. One crisp autumn day, they attended a protest for LGBTQ rights downtown. Signs waved, chants echoed. Eleanor felt empowered, but spotting a familiar face, her cousin, sent her into panic. She dragged Tori away, paranoia gripping her. What if they tell my parents? Tori's patience snapped. When do you stop running? The argument escalated on the train home, voices raised. I'm risking everything. Eleanor shouted. Tori retorted. So am I, but I'm not ashamed. The night ended in tears and reconciliation, but seeds of doubt sprouted. Eleanor sought therapy, unpacking years of repression. Sessions revealed deep-seated fears. Abandonment, failure. Love shouldn't require sacrifice, her therapist said. But did it? Tori, meanwhile, poured pain into music, writing songs that captured their turmoil. A local radio spot played one, the lyrics raw. In your shadow I found light, but the dawn brings fight. As winter approached, the high trended upward. Eleanor confided in Mia, bridging the family gap tentatively. Mia listened surprised. I didn't know you were struggling. It was a small victory, but her parents remained steadfast. At work, Eleanor took on a pro bono case for a discriminated lesbian couple, channeling her anger into action. The case gained media attention, putting her in the spotlight. Supporters cheered, detractors emailed threats. Tori's big break loomed. A tour offer from an indie label. It could change everything, she said excitedly. But it meant months away. Eleanor felt abandonment looming. What about us? The question hung, unanswered. Snow blanketed Chicago, mirroring the chill in Eleanor's heart as the holidays neared. Without family invitations, she and Tori created their own traditions, decorating a tiny tree, baking cookies to Tori's off-key carols. Laughter filled the gaps, but underlying tension simmered. Tori's tour decision weighed heavy. Accepting meant separation, declining meant resentment. This is my dream, Tori argued one evening, firelight dancing on her face. Eleanor nodded, swallowing jealousy. Go. I'll be here. But here felt unstable. The pro bono case intensified, with depositions revealing ugly prejudices. Eleanor's client, a teacher fired for her orientation, mirrored her struggles. They said I was a bad influence, the woman wept. Eleanor fought fiercely, but the opposition's tactics, digging into her personal life, backfired spectacularly. A leaked email exposed the firm's hypocrisy, boosting her reputation but alienating partners. You're a liability now, her boss warned. Family fractures deepened. Mia relayed messages. Parents softening, but conditional on normalcy. Eleanor refused. This is normal for me. Christmas Eve, a surprise call from her mother came. We miss you, she said stiffly. Eleanor choked up. I miss you too, but I won't hide. The line went dead, leaving wounds raw. Tori's preparations for tour added strain. Rehearsals ran late. Jordan hovered, offering support. Eleanor's suspicions flared during a band party, where she overheard flirtatious banter. Confronting Tori later, accusations flew. You're projecting your fears, Tori yelled. The fight ended with Tori storming out, spending the night elsewhere. Morning brought apologies but trust frayed. Society's mirror reflected harshly. A viral article on corporate LGBTQ challenges featured Eleanor anonymously, but friends connected dots. Support poured in, but so did hate mail. Tori faced backlash too. A conservative venue pulled her gig. This city's not as progressive as it claims, she muttered. In a moment of clarity, Eleanor proposed couples therapy. Sessions unearthed resentments. Eleanor's caution versus Tori's impulsivity. I feel like I'm pulling you out, Tori said. Eleanor countered. And I feel like you're pushing too hard. Progress was slow but bonds strengthened. A turning point came mid-January. Eleanor's case went to trial, the courtroom a battleground. She delivered a passionate closing, invoking personal stakes without revealing too much. The jury ruled in favor, a triumph that restored her confidence. Media hailed her as a trailblazer. Offers from progressive firms flooded in. But victory tasted bittersweet, her parents' silence deafening. Emboldened, Eleanor reached out to them, inviting reconciliation. A tense dinner ensued. Her father grilled. Is this a phase? Her mother teared up. We just want you happy. Eleanor introduced Tori via photo. She makes me happy. Resistance lingered but seeds planted. Tori's tour kicked off with a send-off show. Eleanor attended, pride swelling as Tori dedicated a song to the one who showed me patience. Backstage, they shared a tender moment. I'll miss you, Eleanor whispered. Tori smiled. We'll make it work. Separation tested them. Daily calls turned sporadic. Time zones clashed. Eleanor threw herself into a new job at a human rights firm. Thriving but lonely. Doubts crept. Was this sustainable? Tori's social media showed party scenes, Jordan tagging along. Insecurity peaked during a late-night call. Are you happy out there? Eleanor asked. Tori hesitated. It's exhilarating, but I miss us. Betrayal struck unexpectedly. A mutual friend messaged Eleanor. Photos of Tori and Jordan, arms linked at an after-party. Heart-shattering, Eleanor confronted via video. It's not what it looks like, Tori insisted. We were drunk, nostalgic. Nothing happened. But the damage was done. You promised trust, Eleanor sobbed. The call ended in anger. Weeks of radio silence followed. Eleanor spiraled, questioning everything. Work suffered. Therapy intensified. Forgive or let go? Her therapist probed. Mia visited, offering support. Love's messy, sis. Tori returned early. Tour cut short by venue issues. She showed up at Eleanor's door, eyes red. I screwed up. Jordan was a mistake, a kiss, nothing more. I was lonely. The confession hit like a slap. Eleanor recoiled. How could you? Tears flowed as they dissected the pain. Tori begged forgiveness. I choose you every time. The road to healing was arduous. They set boundaries, rebuilt slowly. Eleanor's parents, hearing of the turmoil, extended an olive branch. A family therapy session. Progress inched forward. Acceptance flickered. But costs mounted. Eleanor's old friends faded. New ones emerged from the queer community. Tori lost bandmates over the drama. Together they navigated, stronger but scarred. As spring thawed the city, a new challenge arose. Tori's label pushed for a marketable image, suggesting downplaying her sexuality. No way, she refused, risking the contract. Eleanor supported her, but worried. What if it ends your career? Blossoms dotted Chicago's parks, a stark contrast to the storm brewing in Eleanor and Tori's lives. The label's ultimatum hung like a guillotine. Tone down or walk. Tori paced their now shared apartment. Eleanor had moved in post-tour fallout. This is who I am, she declared. Eleanor nodded, but fear not. Think about the future. The argument echoed past fights, roles reversed. Eleanor's work flourished at the new firm, cases piling up. She mentored young LGBTQ lawyers finding purpose. But home life strained under Tori's uncertainty. Gigs dwindled, savings dipped. Maybe compromise, Eleanor suggested gently. Tori exploded. Like you did for years? The jab hurt, reopening wounds. Family dynamics shifted tentatively. A joint therapy session with her parents revealed buried truths, her mother's own unfulfilled dreams, her father's rigid upbringing. Tears flowed, hugs followed. We love you, they admitted. But it's hard. Tori joined to follow up, her presence a test. Awkward at first, but genuine questions bridged gaps. What makes you happy about my daughter? Her father asked. Tori's answer, her courage, softened him. Society's pressures persisted. A bill threatening LGBTQ rights rallied protests. They marched, signs high. Violence erupted, shouts, shoves. Tori shielded Eleanor from a hurled bottle, earning a bruise. Worth it, she said later, ice pack in hand. The incident galvanized them but highlighted dangers. Internal conflicts resurfaced. Eleanor dreamed of stability. A home, perhaps kids. Tori craved the road's freedom. Can we have both? Eleanor wondered aloud. Discussions turned deep, exposing fears of incompatibility. Betrayal's shadow lingered. Jordan apologized via message. Tori blocked her. But trust rebuilt unevenly. A night out with friends tested it. Tori danced with a fan, innocent but triggering. Eleanor left early. Confrontation followed. I can't live under suspicion, Tori said. Eleanor conceded. I'm working on it. A breakthrough came via Tori's music. She wrote an album chronicling their story, raw, unfiltered. A small label signed her, embracing authenticity. Release night packed a venue. Eleanor beamed from the front row. The crowd's applause validated their struggles. But triumph invited scrutiny. Reviews praised the vulnerability but questioned exploitation. Trolls targeted them online. Doxing threats forced address changes. Eleanor's firm advised caution. Clients wavered. Is this the life we want? She asked Tori one sleepless night. Moral dilemmas peaked when Eleanor's parents invited them for Thanksgiving. Acceptance or trap? They went, nerves frayed. Dinner was civil, but her uncle's homophobic joke ignited tension. Tori called him out calmly. Eleanor backed her. The family split. Some supportive, others distant. Her parents sided with them, a pivotal win. Costs accumulated. Eleanor passed on a partnership for work-life balance. Tori turned down a lucrative but compromising deal. Friends betrayed. Sarah leaked stories to gossip sites for attention. Hurt they cut ties. Awakening dawned gradually. Eleanor embraced her identity publicly, speaking at events. Tori's album charted indie lists, inspiring fans. Together they volunteered at shelters, giving back. Yet high stakes loomed. A health scare. Tori's exhaustion diagnosed as stress-induced. Forced reflection. "We can't keep paying this price," Eleanor said in the hospital. Tori agreed. "But I'd pay it again for you." As summer warmed the city, they planned a commitment ceremony. Small, intimate. Invites went out, responses varied. Her parents attended hesitantly, a gesture of growth. The event was beautiful, vows heartfelt. "Through storms and silences I choose you," Eleanor said. Tori echoed. "In chaos and calm you're my home." Post-ceremony, challenges persisted. Society evolved slowly. Prejudices endured. But their bond, forged in fire, held. The honeymoon phase post-ceremony was brief. Reality intruding with relentless force. Eleanor's firm landed a landmark case against a corporation for anti-LGBTQ policies, thrusting her into national spotlight. Interviews rolled in. She spoke eloquently of personal journeys. But fame brought backlash. Protests outside her office, anonymous calls. "Stay strong," Tori urged, but her own tour resumed, pulling them apart again. Distance amplified insecurities. Tori's road life tempted old habits. Eleanor heard rumors via mutuals. A late-night confession call. "I almost slipped, but I didn't." Eleanor's heart raced. "We need rules." They established check-ins, but trust tested limits. Family reconciliation fractured anew. Her parents, proud of her advocacy, clashed over grandchildren. Adoption? Surrogacy? Her mother pressed. Eleanor deflected. "We're not there yet." The pressure mounted moral quandaries. Was building a family selfish in a hostile world? Society's mirror cracked further. A Supreme Court ruling on rights sparked celebrations and fears. They attended rallies, but violence marred one. Tori punched defending a teen. Bruised, she questioned. "Is change worth the blood?" Internal awakenings deepened. Eleanor authored an op-ed on coming out later in life, resonating widely. Responses flooded, support, stories mirroring hers. Tori's music evolved, incorporating activism. A collaboration with queer artists boosted her. But betrayals persisted. A bandmate sold tour stories to tabloids, twisting facts. Headlines screamed rock star's turbulent love. Humiliated, Tori fired him. Legal battles ensued. Eleanor handled the case pro bono, winning but exhausted. The cumulative toll peaked during a storm-lashed weekend. Alone, Eleanor reflected on losses. Old life, friends, innocence. Tori returned early, sensing distress. "Talk to me." Tears spilled as Eleanor admitted. "Sometimes I wonder if it was worth it." Tori held her. "Look at us, we're free." Awakening came in waves. They adopted a rescue dog, symbolizing commitment. Community grew, they hosted support groups. Eleanor's parents visited more, bonds mending. High drama culminated in a family crisis, her father's heart attack. Rushing to the hospital, Eleanor faced judgments from relatives. Tori stood by, her presence a statement. In recovery, her father whispered, "I'm proud of you both." Tears sealed forgiveness. As years blurred, their story became legend in circles. Testament to resilience. Eleanor rose to partner. Tori headlined festivals. Scars remained, but so did love. In the end, they sat on their fire escape, city lights twinkling. "We paid dearly," Eleanor mused. Tori nodded. "But we'd do it again." Was the pursuit of true love, despite societal and personal wreckage, ultimately the right choice, or a selfish delusion?